Hello, my name is Joshua Dawson, and this presentation is about how recycling can be a huge weapon in the battle against global warming. Global warming is one of the biggest issues facing our generation. Many people look towards renewable energy as a solution to the problem, but what if I told you that by implementing mandatory recycling, it would have a huge impact on the environment and could benefit us all greatly? In fact, not only can recycling help deter global warming, but it can also create new jobs and spur economic growth, along with many other positive benefits. Nearly 70 million tons of materials are kept away from landfills each year because of recycling, and while that might sound like a lot, in reality, less than half Americans recycle, and a lot of recycling centers are underutilized. According to the National Recycling Coalition, only 30% of Americans are active recyclers. Just to throw some numbers out there to put it into perspective, just imagine if that was doubled. It would be around 150 million tons, and still we would only be at 60%. Now, in result, less land is needed and saves a huge amount of money by cutting down on managing and maintaining of the landfills. Not only will people benefit by money savings, but also the pollutants do and can seep into the air and groundwater. Also, when landfills become full, it is buried and closed. However, it still needs to be maintained and monitored for 30 years after for health and safety concerns for the environment, and that can become very costly. According to the EPA, Americans generate over 243 million tons of trash each year as of 2011, and it is growing at an increasing rate. Also, another great benefit, it is healthier for the environment and the air we breathe. In Recycling Facts and Stats by Brenda Pulley, she talks about numerous studies by universities that show that reducing the amount of waste in landfills, it will reduce the many gases that are emitted, which can cause respiratory illnesses such as asthma, as well as the most common gas that is emitted from landfills, methane, coming from decomposing garbage that pollutes the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Finally, the best reason to want to reach full recycling capacity as a society is it will create new businesses and high-paying jobs, such as services for transporting, processing, and selling recycled materials, and companies that manufacture and distribute goods made of recycled materials. According to sustainablebusinesses.com, the more recycling taking place, the more jobs it creates. Opposed to as if everything were to just get thrown in the trash as regular, 6 times as many jobs in fact. Based on the data from a study done in Dayton, Ohio, normal garbage disposal creates a total of 6 jobs, whereas a recycling center commonly employs 36 people. Many of the jobs pay more as well than the national average, and some even very high paying. Such jobs, for instance, are dispatchers, truck drivers, sales representatives, process engineers, and even chemists. However, not all people agree that recycling makes much of a difference. Some argue recycling costs more than just hauling trash to landfills, but it was often found it was due to poorly ran recycling programs and duplicate pickups. In the readings of Federal Options for Reducing Waste Disposal by Terry Danan, plastic and glass recycling was gotten rid of in major cities backed by politics telling the public it was too costly, and the citizens were made to believe there is not much demand for recycled materials. Many people who oppose it do not see a need for recycled materials, which really isn't the case everywhere, especially other countries that lack resources and purchase it from us. For instance, due to paper and cardboard shortages in China, they had turned to us and began buying our trash, creating revenue for the United States. Also, some countries like Sweden have recycling rates of over 100%. They actually take in materials from other countries and recycle and reuse them. In closing, it is widely known that recycling is good for the environment. By recycling materials such as aluminum and paper, we can reduce the amount of waste sent to our landfills every day, which in turn reduces the amount of energy used to create a new product. Even though not everyone will agree that recycling is cheaper than trash disposal, a well-run recycling facility should cost cities and taxpayers less than garbage disposal. If mandatory recycling was introduced to the United States, not only would we be helping to preserve our environment for generations to come, but we can help build our economy and creating a plethora of jobs. If you have any questions or comments about my presentation, please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for your time.